Hey everyone, my name is Miguel Piedra, and this presentation is all about cybersecurity and how it affects U.S. critical infrastructure, like power grids, water systems, and transportation networks. I'm going to break down the main risks, how we can manage them, the ethical issues involved, and how the U.S. compares to other countries dealing with similar threats. Let's start with why this matters. So much of what keeps our country running is digital now, whether it's how we get electricity, water, or even how traffic lights function. But that also means they can be attacked. Cybercriminals and even insiders can target these systems. When that happens, it can shut down major services and cause chaos. So understanding these threats is important if we want to keep running things smoothly and safely. To keep things organized, here's how I'll go through it. First, we're going to talk about how the threats are and what they are and why they matter. Then I'll explain a method called the all hazards risk management approach. After that, we'll look at the ethics, like privacy versus security, and compare the US to other countries. Finally, I'm gonna finish with recommendations based on everything covered. One of the best examples of how dangerous a cyber attack can be was the Colonial Pipeline attack in 2021. That one event alone caused gas shortages across major US cities. Another example is what happened during the pandemic. Hospitals and healthcare systems were hit with ransomware. Agencies like CISA have been warning us that groups in countries like Russia and China are involved in this stuff. On top of that, the World Economic Forum named cyber threats the top global risk in 2024. So clearly this isn't just a small issue because it affects everything. What makes it worse is how connected everything is. A cyber attack on one company or system can ripple out and affect supply chains, deliveries, and payments, and even what's on the store shelves. So they aren't just tech problems, they're real world problems that can impact food, fuel, and health services. That's why we can't afford to take cybersecurity lightly. Like even just in a short outage in one part of the system, it could delay products for days or weeks. Think about how fast stores run out of essentials during a crisis. Cyber attacks can trigger that same effect on panic, just digitally. That's why even small suppliers and vendors have to be part of the security conversation, not just the big corporations. There are lots of ways that these attacks happen. You've got insider threats, such as employees who steal info or sabotage systems. Then there's ransomware, which locks up systems until a payment is made. DDoS attacks flood a server until it crashes. And honestly, I've dealt with that last one myself because one time while gaming on Roblox, I got DDoSed. It just shows how common and disruptive these attacks are. If they can mess up a game, imagine what they can do to a hospital or a power plant. And there's some attacks where people use fake emails to trick people into clicking bad links, and they're still super common today. It only takes one person to fall for it and suddenly the whole system is compromised. Cyber criminals don't always go for the strongest part of the system, they go for the weakest, and that's usually human error. To handle all this, there's something called the all hazards approach. It's a strategy used by emergency management systems. Instead of preparing for just one type of attack, it focuses on overall readiness, like training, communication, and quick recovery. That way, no matter what kind of disaster hits, cyber or not, people and systems are ready to respond. It also helps different industries work together during an emergency. If a cyber attack hits power, hospitals and transportation might also be affected. Having one shared plan across sectors makes it way easier to coordinate and avoid chaos when time really matters. For this to work in cybersecurity, we need partnerships between the government and private companies. Organizations like NIST already provide guidelines to help businesses stay safe. It also takes real-life investment in things like employee training, updated software, and things like network segmentation that keeps attacks from spreading. It's about being proactive instead of reactive. And companies need to test their plans too, not just write them and forget them. Doing practice runs even once or twice a year can show what needs fixing before a real-life threat happens. Cybersecurity is a moving target, so staying prepared has to be a habit, not a one-time setup. Now, when it comes to ethics, I use utilitarianism as the main theory, basically doing what helps most people. If spending money on cybersecurity protects millions, it's worth it. But it also brings up tough questions like how far should we go? Is it okay to track employees or limit privacy if it keeps the system safe? And those questions don't always have easy answers. What one person sees as protecting the public, another might see as surveillance. That's why ethical decisions in cybersecurity need to involve not just tech experts, but also legal teams, human rights advisors, and even the public. And that's where the balance comes in. For example, if a company monitors employee emails to catch a threat that might stop an attack, but it also invades their privacy. So the challenge is finding the sweet spot. Enough security to stay safe, but not so much that people lose their rights. Both companies and government agencies have a duty to get this balance right. And it's not just about monitoring, it's also about how data is stored and who can access it. For instance, should security teams be allowed to track keystrokes or review camera footage without consent? These things might improve safety, but they also feel invasive. So companies really need clear, written policies, and those policies should be shared with employees so everyone understands what's being done beforehand and why. That kind of transparency helps build trust and avoids unnecessary conflict. Looking at other countries gives us a bigger picture about what's going on. Europe, for example, is super strict about privacy and their cyber laws, with rules like GDPR. Estonia is one of the most cyber resilient countries in the world now, after a huge attack in 2007. China takes a different approach. They can act fast because they centralize control, but it's not very open. The US, on the other hand, is in the middle. We value privacy and freedom, but that makes coordination a little harder. What's also interesting is how cultural values shape cybersecurity strategies. For example, in the US, there's a strong focus on individual rights, which makes some surveillance methods controversial. In contrast, countries like Singapore or South Korea have tighter digital regulations, but more public support for strong government-led protections. So it's not just about technology, it's about what citizens are willing to accept. The US has to balance security with maintaining public trust in democratic institutions. Since cyber attacks can hit anyone anywhere, international teamwork matters. Groups like the UN and the Budapest Convention help countries share information and set standards. But yeah, global politics sometimes do get in the way. Still, the US has a chance to lead by pushing for transparency and building strong alliances with other countries. So there's also another challenge of setting global rules that everyone follows. And an example of that would be that not every country would agree with what counts as a cybercrime. Everyone has their own beliefs and they think differently. Some nations don't even report attacks. That makes it harder to respond quickly. Building a stronger global framework where countries commit to common standards and share threat data in real time could help stop cyber threats before they spread across borders. The US could play a big part in leading that effort. So to wrap this up, the threat to our infrastructure is real and growing. The all hazards risk management model gives us a smart way to prepare. Ethics remind us to do the right thing while protecting people. And looking at other countries handling this helps us improve. Moving forward, it's going to take teamwork from government, businesses, and even regular people to protect what matters most. And it's not just about avoiding disaster. It's about building systems that people can rely and trust on. Whether it's clean water, safe hospitals, or working traffic systems, cybersecurity plays a role in all of it. The more we invest in defense, training, and collaboration now, the more secure we'll be later. Everyone has a role to play, and that's how we'll build a safer digital future for everyone. These are the sources I used. All of them are from the past 5 years and include experts like CISA, NIST, and the World Economic Forum. Thank you for watching this presentation. My name is Miguel, and I hope you enjoyed the video.